So I get the pleasure of interviewing James Watson, which is super awesome.
Heck yeah.
Am I the first person to interview you on your podcast?
On this podcast,
On this
yes,
podcast.
exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited, man. Thank you for
too.
having me. Thank you for allowing me to sit behind the camera, or I mean in front of the camera instead of behind the camera.
Always
see?
behind the camera. Now you're up in
Always.
front with me.
Exactly. So, well, cool, man. How you doing today?
I am doing amazing.
Good.
So I just wanted to kind of see what we do for people with our podcast, because it is a huge deal. And I don't think a lot of people understand the full benefits of being on a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wanted to ask you, what is the biggest benefit when we bring somebody in and let them do a podcast?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And it's awesome how you're doing this and you want to show people, kind of what it's going to look like and all that. So that's awesome. I think the biggest benefit about the entire thing is it's the freest of advertisements you can ever have, especially coming onto our podcast and doing this. It gets posted up to iTunes. It gets posted up to, I guess it's Apple Podcasts now, Google Podcasts,
Yeah.
Stitcher, anywhere you can get a podcast, really, even iHeartRadio. I know a lot of people still, do iHeartRadio. And then because I'm filming all of it, it goes onto YouTube as well. And then all the links in every description. So if you have a business I did one for a handy guy. He has his own website. So I make sure it's a clickable link right there so that when they're listening, they're like, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. I like it. I need my door fixed or something like that. Cool. You don't have to go far. You don't have to remember what it is. Write it down. Go online and you just click it right there and it's boom, right there to their website or whoever's website or.
So it's completely free advertising then?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, it does cost maybe an hour of time with them in the morning.
Yeah, I think
that's about it.
That's just a small chunk of your life right there, and that's
for
it.
a huge benefit.
Exactly.
So
exactly. Yeah.
Very cool. So what do you think are some of the biggest benefits of doing an interview style podcast versus informational?
I think it's just one. It's the most obvious. Is it keeps people's attention. It's a conversation. People like conversations. They like networking. You're at a party. You don't like being. Some people like being the fly on the wall. Don't get me wrong, but I mean that's kind of what it is. You're the fly on the wall watching a conversation happen, and it's things like that. As far as informational, I feel it gets a little repetitive, a little boring sometimes, especially if it's longer than a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I
don't think it grabs people's attention that much.
What drew you into doing this kind of work?
Oh my gosh. So I have a music background.
Okay.
So I got my first guitar when I was 11, and so I've been picking that up, doing garage band stuff. So I have a huge background in recording our own music and doing all that stuff. So all the stuff that you see, it's stuff that I'm used to. And I've just picked up over the years and doing that.
So part 2 is going to be you playing for us?
Exactly.
Strutting it up?
Yeah. See, and it's just more entertainment for people. Exactly. So if I start singing though, you gotta.
Okay, I'm not going to fill in for that either because that's not my forte.
Oh, okay, cool.
We'll have to find a third for that.
So, but yeah, so music background, been doing that garage band style. So if there's a lot of cables running around here, it makes me feel at home. I keep it clean for people though. But yeah, and then a video background actually from just having my friends and my brothers and just they were the crazy ones and I was the one that could speed up and have a camera. Basically, and so I have a background of doing that since probably about the same time. Got my first camera. It was like my 11th birthday. I want to say 11. That just sounds like a good number to me.
It's always a good number.
And so I got a Target gift card and I got my first guitar. So I went to Target and in the electronics section, they had like a camera with like a flip out screen. It was $100. I was like, it's destiny. And so ever since then, I've been filming and recording music, just since then.
From one small camera to
3 bigger cameras.
Bigger cameras.
Exactly.
Shoot.
So, but yeah, so I mean, I've been in the industry professionally for about 5 years, and I've been doing that with the 2 mortgage guys, with a couple other mortgage teams, and helping them with their social medias, helping them with video. Helping them with podcasts, and also if anyone needs headshots done, I am a novice photographer. I could get some good headshots for people. So,
hey, you did mine, so they turned out great.
Thanks,
so
man.
Can't complain. I've seen everybody's in the office.
Heck yeah.
So one thing I am getting a lot when I'm approaching people about doing podcasts with us is the question, well, how does 2 mortgage guys benefit from me doing a podcast? Why are you guys putting this out there, spending the money, having the equipment? How do you benefit from it? So would you touch on kind of how 2 mortgage guys benefits from somebody else coming in and getting all the free advertising?
Exactly. So the biggest thing I think, is just when like we scratch your back, you scratch ours, you know? So we advertise you. It's totally awesome. We like getting people's name out there. We're very holistic when it comes to our values in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, you know, a lot of people share our stuff, and because we're helping them out, they advertise us like, hey, Two Mortgage Guys. They made me feel welcome. They you know, allowed me to advertise myself for free, and they pushed my name out there. So it's you know, not, I don't want to say fair. That's not a good word to use, but it's one of those things where people just feel inclined to you know, share our name out there as well. You know, I mean,
Builds that good relationship and connection between.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody does say that they want to come on and do a podcast, what do they need to be prepared for? What should they bring? What should they expect?
So as far as what to bring, you know, bring yourself.
I would hope so.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless we're zooming it in, right?
I mean, we could do Zoom. We have a TV screen right here, and that just requires a little bit of other stuff. And I might have to move the cameras around because we're going to be like this. And if you like the back of my head, but yeah. So if you have a mug that has your logo on it, if you have a little mascot, I know we did interview a guy from an insurance company, and they had an eagle with like their logo, and as a little T-shirt made almost like a Build-A-Bear. And so, you know, he brought that stuff in, and I have these nice bookcases here, and they're not here by accident. They're here to set up props. They're here to set up nice features that are in the background. Those little pleasant to the eye,
the extra ambiance, just the aesthetics.
Exactly. Yeah. So right there, we got a little Two Mortgage Guys mug, strategically placed, you know, just in the background. And then, you know, if they have any of that stuff, to bring that. What they're going to expect is, like I said before, they're going to feel welcome. They're going to be a little nervous because there's 3 cameras, there's some lights shining down, and there's a microphone in front of them. But, you know, that's kind of where we come in. We're all professional here, and we know what we're doing. We know what we're talking about. So sitting down and being more conversational than interview, like, you know, where were you on the 31st of May last year?
Yeah. Between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m.
I don't know. Well, I knew exactly where you were. So, but that's basically it. And we're getting in people that feel comfortable. So I like to give, you know, a good 15 minutes for people to get those wiggles out, you know, and just kind of, we laugh about it. Yeah, there's cameras on, you're being recorded. We make some jokes and just get used to it. And then after that, it's like we're doing right now. I'm not even worried about these cameras right now. I'm looking at you. We're having a conversation. Exactly. We got some comfy chairs to sit down and relax in, you know, and
well, if you're not having fun, it's not worth doing.
Exactly.
So people who get the jitters and everything else, just come in and have a conversation with a friend, right? That would be the best recommendation.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Just treat it like nobody's out there.
Invisible wall. And the cool thing is like, you know, it'd be different if we were on a stage in a live audience, you know?
Yeah.
That's a little bit more nerve-wracking if you ask me. So
it takes it from here to here, just a little bit.
Just a little. And I don't know if you can, but picture the cameras naked if you can. I mean,
I don't see them wearing much, so.
But yeah, I mean, that's the best I could say on there. And, you know, we just know what we're doing, and we want to just help people out as much as we can.
What do you think are some of the key factors in content because I know that people that are coming in are more than free to provide their own content and even give questions for the interview if they feel comfortable being prepared.
Most definitely.
What do you think some of the most important aspects of the content brought in to highlight parts of the business? What's most important do you think? In your experience? In my experience,
I mean, it just all depends on the business. It's anything that's going to make you stand out amongst the rest, you know? The best I can say is if you, you know, if your business was steady during COVID, that's still a hot topic to talk about, you know? Yeah. How did your business stand out or grow during that time? And if it didn't, okay, it's kind of like, how can we look good through all of this? We had to take a step back, but that was just so that we can, you know, pull back the slingshot a little bit harder so we could just skyrocket into this next year.
The positive notes.
Exactly. Yeah. So always keeping it on a positive level, because I mean, in a sense, you're the interview aspect of it is like, okay, why am I good enough to sit here and speak to you? You know?
Yeah.
And so it's keeping it on a positive note, and then always asking your interviewer a couple of questions afterwards. That makes you stand out amongst the rest. I don't know many podcasts where someone sits down, gets interviewed, and then goes, well, what do you think about that? You know? And then now you got the listener sitting there like, oh, the tables have turned a little bit on the host. What are you going to say, Mr. Host Man? You know? And so excuse me for getting off track if I forget, but I mean, that's basically like, that's what it is. It's you're keeping it on a positive level as much as you can. And it's easier when you're around us because, I mean, I feel like we're pretty positive people around here, you know? So normally when people come in here, they'll see me and I'll be on the other side of the cameras, basically. And so what I'm doing is I'm walking around, I'm making sure everything's still filming. You know, I don't want people to get on here and be like, is everything recording? Like, does this guy know what he's doing? So I'm touching buttons. That's totally normal. No one has to worry about that. Nothing's going wrong. You guys aren't speaking incorrectly. You're not, in the right spot that you're supposed to be in. I cater everything towards them, especially when we, sit down. So
So you evolve the process around each individual podcast.
Exactly.
To make sure that it fits what it needs to fit.
Yeah, exactly. Very run and gun when it comes to that.
So behind the scenes after we film this, what's the next step for you? What are you going to do after you say, hey, Andrew, get out of my office. We're done.
Yeah. So
where do you go from there?
I'm going to empty out all of my cards that I have recording, and I'm going to put them in, they're each separate folders. I'm going to cry a little bit. I'm going to grab some more coffee. I'm going to cry a little bit more. No. It does take me a little bit. So I tell everyone it's going to take about a week for me to get the final product to you. Sometimes it goes faster than that. I try to always get it faster than that, but I like to give myself a week time just because it's not the only podcast I'm doing. It's
under promise, over deliver.
Exactly. So, I have 2 other podcasts that I'm recording as well. And so I got to get those out. I'm doing social medias for a couple other stuff. So I have to get those out as well. But I always time manage my stuff very well so that if I tell you it's a week, you're going to get it in a week or less.
Which I can attest to. You've had mine quicker than that. So.
Oh, yeah. So I'm very much, as I heard it from John Maxwell one time, and he heard it from somewhere else too, but very do it now mentality. Wake up, do it now, do it now, do now, do now. And that's it. Because if you don't do it right then and there, we're human, we forget, And so that's my mentality when it comes into all of this stuff. And so I'll get that down. I'll edit all the audio. So it's very nice, very crisp. Everything's level. If there's any like mic bleed and stuff, and I'm not trying to use any like jargon while I'm doing this, but mic bleed is basically, when we're talking, a little bit of my voice from this is going to go into that microphone and vice versa.
Stuff that people wouldn't even think about.
Exactly. And because that happens, it sounds like there's this echo in the room when there's really not, and so that's the whole thing. So I take that out, which takes me, maybe an extra hour or so on top of it, but it's that little thing that will definitely make it sound like Joe Rogan's podcast.
Everything up.
Exactly. Yeah. It makes it sound like it's, high quality stuff, and I'm not trying to say my stuff isn't high quality, but that's, what I mean? So, and then I'm going to cut it between all the cameras. So if there's anything that's in between what we're saying, if we make a joke, if we mess up or anything like that, we can switch it over to another camera and keep the audio going. Like I said, I have a music background, so I focus on the audio first. So there's not going to be these weird little like noise cuts and these weird little like what just happened?
It's or like wait, it just cut.
Yeah, exactly. Or like every other word is like, you could tell they just splice it real close together and it's kind of jumping here and there. So it's not like that at all. I make it so that it's fluid. It's a normal conversation. And if it cuts from this camera, it's either in between a sentence, or if it cuts to that camera, it's because I messed up and we had to start this spot over. And now they will never know if I just did or not.
So we never cut to that camera then, because you never mess up.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yep. Actually, we've been on this camera the entire episode. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, nobody wants to see me. So on that note, though, hypothetically, if you're interviewing me and I don't like my response to one of the questions or something said, or I just don't like how I worded it, is that something I could come to you later after we're done and say, hey, can we cut this bit out?
Yeah.
Get rid of it because I just wasn't happy with it.
Most definitely. So I'm very big on transparency when it comes to that, especially if it's someone that's sitting down and they don't like how they said something. Even if it's right then and there, you can totally just say, hold on, that was goofy. I don't know why I said that.
Can we get rid of that question, please?
Exactly.
I didn't like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then just say the question again, and then give them
And that'd be good to do
chance.
too, because it gives you a marker in the film to not have to go back and try to actually find it.
Yeah.
Because they're going to say right here.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And so it's always better when it's right then and there. I understand some people aren't comfortable with doing that and they can always come to me afterwards. It might sound a little weird in the final edit because, if you don't stop right then and there and restart, then I'm going to have to figure out how I can make those 3 sentences, the one before, the one after, and that one that you messed up kind of work and be a normal conversation. So it's not too big of a deal. It happens all the time, and I'm used to it. So
Sounds like there's a lot more to it than most people think.
oh yeah,
Because my mind, before we had this conversation about podcasting, it was a camera, it was a microphone. You went in and made sure everything was stitched and then put it out.
Yeah.
That was like the extent of my knowledge on it. So thank you for opening my eyes a little bit to what actually goes into it.
No problem. And I know a lot of people don't see that, especially with like video work or anything like that. And when it comes to video stuff, and this is something that I just want to say for my industry in particular, it's not just one button and it's done. It's not that at all. It takes a while. You have a lot of different cameras, a lot of different scenes, and then when you stitch them together, you can't just throw them together.
Yeah.
You have to tell a little story in there somehow, and
even with all the most expensive equipment and programs and everything, there's a lot of work that goes into getting things done.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's definitely one of those industries where if you ever wonder why there's 500 people for one shot on a Hollywood set, there is a reason, and no one's just standing there picking their nose. I'm telling you that. All right, there's definitely a reason for it. And so I'm doing all this just me, and that's why time management for myself is super crucial, because I want to make sure this stuff gets out for you guys as fast as possible and as reasonable a time as possible. I'm not going to just throw it all together real quick and just, take shortcuts just to like hand it to you guys in one day because you guys want it in one day. I'm sorry. It's going to take a little longer because it's going to sound good and it's going to be good quality, you know?
Yeah. Don't want to sacrifice the quality for the amount of time.
Exactly. So yeah, definitely not a one button process. Not at all. Andrew, thank you for sitting down and doing this. I know you really wanted to show a lot of these people that you're trying to ask if they want to come onto this podcast and do that. And I know people get nervous, especially with cameras and especially with microphones like we talked about.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good way just to show them, hey, this is what it's going to sound like. This is what it's going to look like. And this is how professional we are. And we know what we're doing. And so knowing that you're in good hands when we're sitting down doing this, I hope it takes off the edge for a lot of these people not to get so nervous. And being nervous isn't wrong. It's a totally natural thing.
It's actually a healthy thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Very healthy.
Exactly. And
it's confidence through being nervous. And what a lot of people need to realize is it doesn't have to be a nerve-wracking thing to do a podcast. If you truly love what you're talking about, it's going to come easy.
Yeah.
And you're still going to have the butterflies. It's still going to be like, oh my gosh, this is going to be out there. People are going to see this. Mm-hmm. But if you truly love what you're doing and you're going to reach and be able to help people by being here, by all means, just do it.
Yeah.
What's the worst that happens?
Exactly. Butterflies mean go.
Butterfly means go.
Yep. So
don't stop.
And another thing I didn't add on either, and this is a nice little thing that I like to do. I want to make people feel comfortable. So I have a nice little refrigerator over there in the back, and it's full with sparkling waters, energy drinks if you're not having a good morning, and water. So,
Sweet.
You guys will always have something like that. And if you're feeling faint, I have, chips and other things you can have too, little stuff like that. But anyways.
And one of our newer employees was a firefighter paramedic and still is. So if you do faint, we're in good hands.
Yeah, exactly.
You're all good.
We're always in good hands. We even have a processor who is a 911 dispatcher as well.
Oh, perfect.
So we know who to call.
We've got you covered on all points.
Yeah, exactly. Not that you're going to faint here,
No.
but I'm just saying. And then like we stated a little bit, there is a TV here. I like to have that if someone has a PowerPoint presentation, if they have a website that they're just so proud of and they want to show off, I can have it on there.
Or if they simply just want to broadcast anything, like their pictures or, if it's an office coming in, they could have scrolling pictures of the office or whatever through the PowerPoint and
exactly
kind of just give that little extra edge.
A little extra visual and like you said, the edge. And so also what I do is I can screen record it. So that if you do a walkthrough and you're showing it off, I did it in a different episode as well, where it was a handyman and he was showing off his website and he started, moving around with the mouse and doing all that stuff. So what I did was I took that later and I added that on screen. I mimicked what he was doing because I wasn't recording the screen. I wasn't thinking about it. But, so I recorded what he did and everything on screen on the YouTube video is basically what he did on that thing, so it can show people more of a high quality and they can navigate it and show it's like a tutorial almost.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So cool. Well, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for letting me have you
in
your office with your equipment.
I know, but it's not often people
it's
ask
about
me,
having fun. No,
exactly.
It's thought it'd be good to be able to get out there for what you actually offer and to let people know that yes, it is 100% free advertising. It is going to cost you maybe an hour of your time, and if you have some prep time to get ready for the interview.
Yeah.
But have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not having fun, it's not worth doing.
Exactly.
So come out, have some fun with us.
Yeah. Yep. And that's it, man. That's a wrap. I like it.
That's it.
Yeah.
It is done.